And we'll go.
Okay. All right. Last time is not so long ago, so I'm sure you most of the last session vividly. You had been busying yourselves exploring Harrowstone a little bit further after having a very enlightening talk with Visoriana, the wife of the former warden of this place, who happens to be dead and appeared before you in the form of a ghost. You also ended up encountering another ghost as you explored more of the asylum. However, that one was much less friendly and helpful, and turned out to be quite a pain in the ass, to be frank. But you managed to put him down.
Let's keep going deeper.
Indeed, it's a good start.
I don't think that's a good idea.
I was being highly facetious. We should not go any deeper. This is a terrible place.
Yeah, we probably should look around first and set back for home. We can be late for the meeting.
Come better prepared some other time.
And we already wasted way too much holy water.
We
Okay.
really need to find a better way to deal with these spirits. I mean, this was just some typical haunt in here, and we have not even encountered the ones who are supposed to be particularly terrifying.
Well, I find these are terrifying already.
Do you think there's somebody in town we can ask?
Well, Father Greenbarrow.
He's not been very forthcoming. But worth a chance. I think I'm finally getting into his good graces.
I mean, we haven't really told him that we explored this much into the Harrowstone.
That's the thing, though. Every time I mention it, he seems less than enthusiastic about us looking into this business.
I just wish that some of those folks that were here for Loremore's funeral were still around. A few of them looked quite competent.
Well, either way, let's not linger here any longer than we have to.
No, I should say not.
Only the gods know what other spirits are lurking about.
I think I hear one.
Strange spirits.
Yeah, do you think we haven't properly vanquished this poltergeist or whatever it was? Yeah.
Is it possible that they kept insane babies here too? Criminally insane infants?
I don't know. I mean, have you seen this? I mean, it's pretty much any baby can be criminally insane under the right circumstances.
Yeah, let's not linger on that thought either.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Dr. Arronax will take a look around. This was infirmary, right?
Infirmary, yeah.
Yeah, so he will take a look around the infirmary as soon as I click on perception, I suppose, right? No.
Okay. You take a look around and you notice a couple of items that may be useful to you. but let's see if they happen to have been used as a uh,
As a weapon by poltergeist.
as a weapon by the poltergeist. Exactly. So the first thing you spot is a pair of fully stocked healers kits.
Well, that is very useful.
Yeah, and they're both totally intact. Then we have 3 vials of antitoxins, which are also all still intact. We have 2 vials of anti-plague, which are both fine. 3 doses of blood block,
Hey, this is good stuff.
all still fine. 3 doses of smelling salts that are still usable. 2 vials of sooth syrup, perfectly good shape. And 4 potions, one of which has been shattered,
Of course.
but the other 3 are still fine.
3 potions, you say?
And
It's
put
like-
S14 in somewhere with those potions so that we know where they're from.
It's like someone went down the list of alchemical items and was like, "Yep, got some of these, got some of these, got some of these."
Well, I mean, it isn't
Yeah.
infirmary. After all,
No troll styptics though.
yeah, thankfully, now I no longer need to actually prepare that, so that's interesting. Now, well, while we're still here, we might as well check out the potions, and I have my alchemy check to identify them.
Can I assist him if he needs it?
Sure, you can try.
Believe it or not, that's a skill I actually have.
Well, if I fail, you probably can. Well, Emerald can. Ugh. Although I rolled 3 times, but
I guess that assists on that aids on the first check. Then I guess.
Yeah.
I guess I should do all the
I was
others.
assuming potions are different.
Yeah, you can roll 2 more aid another. But it won't really make a difference. Yeah, so Doctor, you identify the second one with great certainty as a potion of Cure Light Wounds. And you feel like the other 2 they look very similar, smell similar, but you're not entirely sure.
Yeah, well, it's okay. Well, so we'll conduct further examination back home, I suppose.
I mean, this is an infirmary. It would make sense.
I mean, we don't want to drink spoiled cure potions, right? Ugh, I still get shivers from that last time. Well, I suppose, yeah, Doctor, meanwhile, hoards most of the healing items into his backpack. So I suppose we should head out back.
Yeah, is that the consensus?
Think so.
So there was anti-plague, 2 blood blocks, 2 smelling salts, and 2 something else?
3 smelling salts,
3 smelling salts.
2 vials of sooth syrup, and 2 fully stocked healers kits. And then you head back to Ravengro.
Ugh.
And there's still some daylight left before you want to make your way over to the town hall for the town hall meeting. So if there's anything else you want to take care of before we head there.
I'm just glad we'll be able to make our appointment. I thought
Mhm.
back in Harrowstone, I thought we might just miss it permanently.
Indeed, it would be very unfortunate. Yeah. Meanwhile, Dr. Arronax will just take a brief rest after continuously mutating himself with his concoctions, because it certainly takes a toll on his body.
Okay, so you retreat to Lorimer Place.
Yes, I suppose. I suppose we
Crow
will.
would actually like to. I'd like to go to the forge.
Okay. The forge.
Let's talk to Jorska.
Jorfa. Yeah.
Jorfa.
Yeah, Jorfa is actually just kind of getting the fire ready to keep the heat. She seems to be closing down the shop for the day, which is a little bit early for her. Usually she keeps it open well into the twilight. And when you get there, enter the shop without really looking over her shoulder, she says, No, we're closing early today. Got to make it to the meeting."
I am not here to make any purchases this evening.
"Oh," she says, and looks up. "Oh, it's you. You're not looking. So, what else would you be looking for then?"
Well, I was actually hoping that I might talk to you.
"Okay, well, if you don't mind me cleaning up the workshop while we talk, I don't like to just stand idly by while there's still work to be done."
By all means, I could help actually if you use an extra set of hands.
Sure, yeah. And she hands you a rag of leather and a bucket, and instructs you how to help, like, polish the tools and clean up the workshop.
Sure. He says, "Yeah, I do not enjoy sitting by idly while others work either."
Good. That's a good trait. Anyway, so what did you want to talk about?
Well, last time we were here, it was under unpleasant circumstances, I believe. But I was wondering, well, if you have been around here for a long time, longer than pretty much anyone else in town, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I guess that's fair to say.
You have seen a lot in your days.
A thing or two.
I was wondering if you might know of anybody or anything in town that might be useful. Me and my friends have been investigating a little bit around the place while we are here, and our pokings and proddings have led us to Harrowstone, actually.
Harrowstone. Oh, well, I always kept away from that place. I don't think anything good ever happened there.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I do not wish to be there myself, and yet circumstances find me there more often than I'd like, without the option of simply walking away from things. We have encountered some spiritual disturbances there of varying sorts, and it has been quite challenging for us to continue with our investigations.
"Oh, you mean you've seen a ghost?" she says, kind of matter-of-factly.
Ghosts, haunts, things that I am not entirely well versed in. Yes, certainly ghosts, but perhaps other things present there as well.
Yeah, that place is haunted. I'm telling you, I'm sure that troubles this town is in right now just kind of seep out from that dreadful place.
Indeed, and from what we have found, the seeping seems to be happening a little more frequently and a little more violently. We are trying to put a stop to that.
Oh, you are? Well, that's great. I mean, are you planning on coming to the town meeting tonight?
Of course, we are, yes. But I suppose one of the things I was wondering, as you have been here just about longer than anyone else, seen more than anyone else, if you happen to know any person or anything around town that might help us while we are undergoing our labors at Harrowstone, dealing with ghosts and spirits.
Well, she pauses for a little bit and she says, I like to keep to myself, to be honest, and I don't know exactly what you're trying to get at, but if it is support for fighting ghosts and such, I can. And she rummages through one of her shelves and then gets out a big leather package and then just rolls it out over her workbench, and it's just this collection of beautifully crafted, obviously magical arms, like very elegantly rapiers, very elegant rapiers, very sharp-looking long swords, just exquisite craftsmanship and in perfect condition. And she says, but I still can offer you some tools.
My goodness, I mean, I recognize the mark of true craftsmanship in your other work, but I did not imagine. And in all honesty, your tendency to not prod into other people's affairs is part of the reason that I came to you, if I'm completely honest myself. Other folks around town may be more accustomed to dealing with the dead and such, but you seem to have a certain discretion about you. A certain lack of alternative motivations, and so now
like I said, I like to keep to myself. I don't keep anybody's secrets, and that makes my heart very light.
Oh, this is very fair. And what you offer is far more than I was hoping for. I only hoped to be pointed in the right direction, but this is, and he kind of handles the rapier. Yes, this is incredible craftsmanship.
She grumbles a little bit, and she has a hard time taking a compliment, and she says, well, if you like them, I have a couple of pieces of armor as well. You know, it just fixing axles and fire pokers is not really fulfilling me all the time, so I like to, stretch the old muscles every now and then.
Oh no,
So-
no, something with such beauty and elegance as this is certainly more befitting of yourself.
She has an even harder time taking that compliment and just blushes and is like, well, if you're interested in the weapons or the armor, I can make you a good price.
Well, I have to confess that I did not come expecting to make a purchase this evening, and I do not believe that myself or even my friends or all of us combined could afford something quite as remarkable as this. But
Well-
just out of curiosity, what were you thinking of letting them go for?
And she points at a couple of them and names some prices, and it basically comes down to market price with a 10% discount.
Okay, so these are like +1 rapiers, +1
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, bunch of
Okay.
+1 weapons and shields.
Cool. Well, he looks at her and he says, "As I said, these are far beyond our means at the moment, but I don't suppose there's any way we could work out some sort of arrangement, perhaps. I don't know if there are any tasks that you need doing, favors that I could perform."
She
Or
kind
if you
of
simply are looking for coin, I can simply be on my way. Although I do appreciate the conversation.
she scrambles for an answer, and give me a diplomacy check.
Oh boy.
Well, you get a bonus because you're trusted. So what are you trying to get her to agree to, or what kind of deal does Crow have in mind?
I mean, he's pretty much, if she has a task for us to do of any sort, he's down for it. He thinks that his mates would probably be down for it to get stuff like this.
You're trying to get a job.
He'd
Okay.
be willing to work for it. Like if she just wants
She's-
to like work
yeah.
around the shop and stuff, like he can do
Yeah.
that too.
She says, yeah, she has an answer for that. She says, well, I can take care of my own business, but you know what? If you're really interested in solving these troubles for the town, if you can get yourself sponsored by the council, I'll loan you one of my weapons each, or armor or shield, for the duration of that task.
Well, that would certainly be useful indeed. I would of course be happy to accept the loan and return the weapons in as perfect condition as we received them. I do not think that ghosts tend to leave much of a mark.
On our corpses.
I don't suppose they do. No.
Well, in that case, I am very pleased that we have reached these arrangements, and perhaps we will reach some other arrangements in the future. We will, of course, be attending the town meeting, and I will advocate for sponsorship.
Excellent. All right. I guess I'll see you there. And then she looks up from her work and looks around the workshop, which is sparkling clean at this point, and she says, and I think I'm pretty much good, ready to go now.
Yes, I will take my leave, but I look forward to seeing you around town.
See you there, she says.
That's not what I said.
She deliberately kind of, oh God, I'm don't have my words ready tonight.
You don't have the best words.
I don't have the best words.
That's fine. No, he's
kind of skips that comment in a diplomatic fashion.
he kind of says that like very casually as he's like walking out the door. Like he's not
Right.
really saying it to her. He's just saying it out loud, like so that she can, like
Right.
he's pointing that out as he's leaving.
Yeah.
So it's like a
Yeah.
playful thing. Like that's not what I said.
And she certainly
No.
does not have an answer quickly enough before he's out of earshot. Yeah. All right. Back at the normal place. The doctor's relaxing. Emerald and Alaric retreated to their rooms. What's Geier doing?
Geier wants to talk to Kendra.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kendra is also busy. She's actually in the process of compiling some notes for the meeting. And so she's in the study, sitting at her father's desk when you find her. And she looks up and she says, "Oh, Guy, it's you. I'm sorry about that. I'm a little busy right now, but the meeting is going to be soon. So, do you need anything?"
Well, is there anything I can help you with? I don't mean to intrude much, but if I can be of assistance, that'd be great. If not, I just have a question or two.
Well, if you can make it quick, I'll be happy to answer questions.
Well, as brevity is the soul of wit, I shall be brief. Your father, did he have any people he got along with particularly well, or particularly bad?
He might not. Well, you've been to his funeral there. He had many of friends and many rivals, as well as colleagues and respected peers.
Of those, does anybody stand out? Anybody that will be in the council meeting this evening?
In the council meeting? No, I don't think so. I think in town he was quite popular. In fact, I guess he would have even been up for a seat on the council. But of course,
he got along with everybody in the council.
As far as I know, yeah. Why are you asking?
Oh, just curious to see if anybody can help further his research. Maybe he confided in someone or consulted someone.
Well, my father. He kept his work very, very compartmentalized, and he rarely spoke to anyone who was not directly involved in his studies about them. So I think even if he was on good terms with the council, that does not mean that he would share his work with them. He hardly shared anything with me.
Okay, and one final question, and I'll leave you in peace. How did he get along with Father Grimburrow?
Well, I suppose well enough. That he was not a very religious man. He took a very scientific approach to the gods and disagreed with them in a number of issues. And I think Father Grimburrow never really could get over this. So I don't think they were on the best of terms, but they certainly weren't enemies. Why are you asking?
Oh, just...
Did the father say anything?
No, not at all. Just wanting to understand better the circumstances of your father's life, is all.
Oh, well, I would like to do that too sometimes. Sometimes I feel like there are parts of his life that I haven't even glimpsed at. He's such a secretive man.
That he was. But I will leave you to your work. Before that, Geier will, try to get a peep at what she's working on, see if anything looks interesting.
Okay. Give me a perception. Okay. Yeah, without being too obvious, you managed to catch a couple of lines that she was writing, and it looks like she's preparing some notes to advocate for the council to send someone to Harrowstone to investigate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I bid her farewell, and I'll head over to Father Grimburrow if there's still time. And if Garnath wants to go ahead, do something as I make my way.
Okay. Is there anything the doctor wants to do while
Mm.
waiting?
Well, at this point, we don't. Yeah, no, I think I think at this point, Doctor will continue resting. I mean, he this decreased his wisdom to 6 today, so his mind is racing.
Right. That is a splitting headache for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so Gaia, you make your way to the temple, and it is probably about time for the father to leave to get to the meeting as well. So you'll probably meet. Yeah, you meet him as he makes his way out of the temple and towards the northern bridge, and you catch up with him. He's accompanied by 2 acolytes, and you call out to him, and he turns around and he says, Geier, I was wondering if you would show up. I haven't seen you all day.
Oh, well, Father, we've been otherwise occupied with some unpleasant business up in Harrowstone.
Was that holy water of any use to you?
To be honest, Father, I didn't much get a chance to use it. The specters that appeared, well, there's not much I can do with a shovel, is there?
I guess there's not. Yes. So we should probably get moving. Don't want to be late for the meeting. Are you going to walk with us?
Oh, certainly.
And he starts making his way over, and he says, "So, you mentioned fighting specters in Harrowstone. Were you kidding, or are you actually serious about that?"
No, Father, apparently the people who perished there, well, their business remains undone. And
I would imagine so. Some very lost souls that died in that fire that night.
yes, quite torture the people. So it's made our work there a bit more difficult.
I see.
But
You've come out of it again, it seems, faced the horrors of the undead and still persevered. That is quite impressive.
well, by the skin of our teeth, as they say. But I wanted to ask you, perhaps you knew some of the people who were there. Or of the people who were there.
Who were where?
At Harrowstone. Harrowstone burned decades ago. No, sorry. You knew of the legend of the hateful dead.
There are so many legends that go around this place. You'll have to be a little bit more specific, I'm afraid.
Some of the most vicious tenants of such place were the...
Oh, you
the
mean the
father-
5?
Yeah, the 5.
Yes, of course. I know. I've heard of the 5. I was a young man when the place burned down, but even back then, the 5 were already notorious, and ever since that incident, their infamy has only grown.
Well, it seems there's still echoes of those 5 in there. And in all honesty, I have not much an idea of how I would go about confronting them.
Echoes? You mean they're the restless spirits of the 5? Well, and he stops and scratches his chin. He says, "Well, that certainly raises an interesting point. Come on, the meeting is about to begin. I think this is something that we should share with the council."
Yes, we best not be late.
At this point, Dr. Arronax probably will catch up to them.
Well, you'll meet them at the
Yeah, it's the
at
plaza.
the town hall.
Yeah, town square.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sure. Yeah.
When they get to the town hall, Crow is already waiting outside, and he kind of pulls them over for a moment before we all go in.
Okay. So the father and his 2 acolytes go inside. Crow pulls Geier aside husband and the doctor when he arrives, and it's the three of you, while the rest of the crowd starts to filter into the town hall. You stand a little off to the side near the entrance.
Gentlemen, before we go in here, I think there's a few things that we ought to get straight amongst ourselves. First of all, I have not been idle in the time since we returned from Harrowstone, and I've been speaking with the blacksmith. She says that if we can get official sponsorship from the town council to deal with things in Harrowstone, then she would be willing to provide us with some superior arms and armor for our fight against the undead.
That is very kind on her part.
How do we know these arms and armor will work against the undead?
They are magical in nature.
Oh, well,
That should do it.
hopefully.
In
Will
fact,
certainly be more efficient than swinging at them with a shovel or shooting them with bullets that pass right through.
yeah.
Yes, that was not the most effective of means.
I personally would prefer something more flexible than Dr. Arronax rubs his studded leather armor under his cloak, and this thing will eventually give me calluses on my shoulders.
Did I see that she had anything on offer that was like magical light armor, or was it all like heavier stuff?
As long as it's metal armor, you chance that she had it.
Okay.
Is chain shirt probably is light armor, right?
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Well, that was what Dr. Arronax would be happy to accept as a gift. So,
But first,
Yeah.
as I said, we must receive official sponsorship from the town council, and I should be clear that these are loans to us. These are not for
I understand.
gifts, so we should take care of them. But on that account, speaking with the council about our activities at Harrowstone, exactly how much do you think it would be wise for us to say?
Well, I don't think we should keep to ourselves much of that, because, well, people should at least know that unrested spirits do indeed present.
It is town business after all.
Indeed.
Yes, but what of the rest of it? The reasons why we were there, the reasons why the dead are restless now, as opposed to 2 weeks ago.
We should probably tell the truth. I mean, Professor
Yeah, perhaps
was,
somebody knows about the Whispering Way.
That is to say, you wish to admit in front of all of these people that we were investigating Loremore's death, found out he was murdered by a cult of cloaked figures, and that these kidnapped the undead spirit of the warden of the place, and that is why the inmates are restless. We should say all that.
well, I think we can at least say that we're investigating Professor's death, at least that much. I'm not sure claiming some existence of some hooded figures is based on the words of unrested spirit is probably unwise to say in front of a very superstitious crowd of people.
Has it occurred to any of you that it may also be the case that some of these cloaked figures will be in the council with us this very evening?
Geier shrugs. He doesn't have much mind for this kind of subterfuge or being discreet.
They could be or they could not, but if they would be, they would already know that we are snooping around anyway, because, well, we weren't particularly stealthy back there.
Okay, so to be clear, we are going to explain that we were looking into the death of our friend Loremore.
We have visited
while
the
we were there,
Harrowstone, and we have encountered unrested spirits there.
and that we wish to eradicate them as What, some sort of favor to the town?
Well,
Just
I think
goodwill?
it's the right thing to do.
And to honor Professor's memory.
I suppose this is fair enough. I just want to be sure that we are not saying to the town council tonight that we found out the professor was murdered, or that if we are, we at least pull Kendra aside and inform her first. It would be most terrible to find out information like that in such a fashion.
Mm-hmm.
But we are avoiding this completely, am I correct?
Yes.
So I'll let you do most of the speaking, and if you need me to contribute with something, do let me know, because I do get the impression that I will be digging my own grave in there.
Well, many of us.
Fitting analogy.
And I suppose at this point we will come inside.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's a big crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a lot of people. Kirk kind of pushes his way through the crowd a little bit to catch up to the doctor, try and find an open spot.
Oh, well, I was muted. So yeah, it's quite busy. It's 60 people easily in here. There's a significant chunk of the town's population. The town hall itself hardly even fits that many people, so there have been a bunch of chairs set up so that everyone who doesn't fit on the benches at least gets a seat on a chair. But even so, still some people need to stand near the windows. On a little raised area, the council members have taken their seats. One of them is empty, with Garen Murraycar having not been replaced already. And you kind of push through the crowd to find your spots. Geier, where are you standing? You're staying near the entrance?
No, Geier will scurry along with his companions.
As we're walking along, Crow will say to the other two, "Gentlemen, I highly suggest that we keep an eye on the crowd this evening. As I said, if our enemies are amongst us, then when we speak, we might elicit a reaction from some of them. It would be good to try and identify who we might be dealing with."
Good idea.
All right, I'm just gonna need to get something from my throat. I'll be right back.
But this kind of instructions are useful, because I don't want to divulge more information that you think is appropriate.
I think we should just divulge just enough to get a rise, but hopefully not so much that we draw hooded figures to our bedchambers this evening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
as you push your way through the crowd, the murmuring is already dying down because Vashian Hearthmount has raised his voice and is starting to is starting the meeting, and he's doing it in the same fashion that he the last will and testament of the professor, very professionally, very bureaucratically, and he goes down the list of paragraphs and all of the rules and regulations that a meeting like this has to follow. And then by the time he's done with that, he goes over today's topics. And the crowd at this point is already kind of fed up with this slow-moving thing, and then someone in the first row just yells, "We all know why we're here. Just get to the point." And but he hushes the heckler and he says, "No, this all has to follow the rules because otherwise all of civilization would break down." And he continues to explain today's agenda. And then finally, when he's done with that, Murta says, "Thank you, Vashian. I think that will be enough now." And he takes a seat, and she steps up to the podium, and she says, "Thank you all for coming. I know that these have been tough times for all of us, and I know that not everyone can spare the time away from their family home to attend a meeting like this, but I believe that it is most important for everyone to come together in a time like this and work this out as a community." And some more encouraging words like that from her. And then she finally gets to the point, and she says, everyone who lives here knows that Ravengro is special in more ways than one. And she gets a couple of cheers from some people in the crowd. And we sure know how to handle the odd event every now and then. I think everyone here knows what I'm talking about. But what has been going on in the last couple of days or weeks is certainly more than we're used to, and certainly more than we as a council, as a community, can accept. And there's a lot of agreement to that statement from the crowd. So today we're here to debate how to proceed. And then she opens up the floor, and some of the townspeople get to talk about what they think is going wrong and what they think should be done. One after another, they take the podium, and it's a variety of opinions. Of course, there is some blame to that elven woman that is still in the jail of the sheriff, and calling her the ringleader of it all, and that kind of sparks a lot of debate because she hasn't even been there for the first couple of strange events, and even now that she's in custody, weird stuff still keeps happening. And then there's another villager who just openly, xenophobically accuses the foreigners in town, not just talking about you, that you really are strangers to this town, but also about the non-human inhabitants in town. And he gets heckled off stage, but there's also a group of people and individuals in the crowd that seems to at least tolerate that sort of statement. And then there's Gibsaphanus, you also already encountered a leader back when the funeral of the professor, who reiterates his claim that it's the professor's fault, and the necromancer that has been buried in the Restlands is now tainting the entire town. And that gets some boos and screams until he finally shuts up. And so this goes back and forth for a little bit, until finally Shanda Farrowan takes the podium. And at this point, all sorts of debates between the people in the crowd, between the crowd and the person at the podium, between people who are just on the stage but not at the podium. It's like all sorts of different conversations, all going in different ways how to solve this, and until she finally bangs on the podium and she says, "All right, stop this now, everyone. Stop it. We know what is truly to blame here. We all dance around it because we've been living near it for so long that we've kind of just blocked it out of our minds. But we know that it's all pointing to Harrowstone." And then there's some oohs and ahs from the crowd. And Father Grimborough steps up next to Shanda and says, "It's true. One of our guests even told me that they have been to Harrowstone recently, and they have witnessed unquiet spirits there. I believe that there's something building up in the ruins of that damned place, and I think it is starting to reach out to this town. And I think it'll have." And at that point, the lamps, the oil lamps that illuminate the town hall, flare up in little balls of fire and immediately set significant chunks of their surrounding area on fire. Within seconds, the town hall turns into a frantic mass of people that all try to get to the door at the same time as the fire threatens to quickly consume the entire building. That was a bit of a sharp turn, I know, but that's what it felt like to your characters. That, well, it was just some political debate until suddenly all four lamps explode into flames.
Yeah, that is certainly quite a spectacular way to end the debate, but I guess Unquiet Spirits also wanted to have a word with us. So we're all in initiative?
Yes, please.
Whoops. Crow was so focused on what he was going to say.
Dr. Arronax apparently also was thinking about how to politely interject that, like, yes, we went to Harrowstone. Oh shit. And yeah, that happens.
Alejandro?
Sorry, I was muted. How thick are the walls of the town hall?
Well, we'll need your initiative check for.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and then I agree, we probably should bust out a wall.
Yeah, I was looking for a window, but yeah.
Yeah, I think. Sorry. Did it show up? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Geier, you are the first one that can react to this. You will look around. You see that, you see the panic spreading in the crowd. You see the fires breaking out, and you see you notice some heavy tapestries hanging on the walls that could probably be used to put out the fires. The windows themselves are barred, so they won't be of much help to get another exit. And also, one of the oil lamps exploded right over your head, so I will need you to do a reflex save at the very first.
Yes, that I can do.
Oh, that's dastardly to leave the whole place full except for spots where the oil lamps will be over someone's head.
No, there were some other spots.
Dastardly.
Wait, just 1 second. Because I think I have. I know it's a bonus against fear. Never mind then. Oh, I was clicking the PDF instead of the sheet.
15 is exactly enough. So you avoid taking damage from the flames, but the square you are in is still basically on fire.
You said there's tapestries nearby,
Yeah.
like within reach of me.
Yes.
Then I will pull one of them off and try to throw it over the fire.
All right. Give me a combat maneuver check. You try to extinguish the fire, suffocate it under the tapestry, but it's burning really hot and so quickly that's it's unnatural, and you're having a very hard time putting it out. It just keeps on coming back. Crow.
So this place is still as jam-packed as... It's just
Yes.
it's just super jam-packed.
Yeah.
Is everyone on their feet?
Not yet, but everybody is about to get moving.
I guess Crow sees that. Okay, I know this is kind of a mechanical thing, but are they gonna start moving at the end of the round, or
Yeah.
can Crow delay his action until after they go and then go?
Yeah, you could also do that, sure.
Yeah, Crow sees that it's just a mass of people, and he just starts yelling, "Out! We need to get everyone out!" But he delays his action until after the crowd starts to move.
You could also try to direct the crowd if you want that to.
Yeah, because just yelling out, I think they all have that same idea.
Run away! No,
Yeah, you can direct the crowd if you want to.
that would be like my action.
Yeah, that would be your action.
Sure.
Okay.
In
That'll
that
be
case,
a,
I'll try to direct the crowd.
okay. That will be a diplomacy or an intimidate, depending on your style.
Get the children and the elderly out first. We have to go. I don't know how to shout in my accent.
That sounded like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
We have to get out of here.
Get out now!
Run.
Get out now!
It's going to blow.
Diplomacy or intimidate.
Yeah. But I guess you're trying the diplomacy route.
I'm
the way you
gonna. Yeah,
described it.
he's taking the diplomatic.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So some people who had just kind of been open-mouthed, glassy-eyed, staring at the flames that suddenly erupted, they sort of snap out of it as you yell that and are ready to move. Doctor.
Doctor, first you will spend a move action, I suppose, to pull out a vial of holy water. But before trying to douse unholy flames with holy water, he will take a page from Crow's book and use his natural 2-meter height to also direct the crowd to by clearing his throat and raising his voice to rather booming levels. He will he will declare, "Please don't panic. The fire won't touch you if you don't panic. Can go to the exit in organized pairs. Everything will be fine." So
All right. Let's see that diplomacy
that
check.
would be diplomacy check with +0. Yeah, okay. That probably didn't reassure them.
Yeah. Apparently you're sort of emotionally detached, sort of rational way of getting people to listen is not working very well.
The intelligence booster always crumples diplomacy.
All right. So now I get to move 60 NPCs. Fun.
Yay.
And you get to watch.
It's-
So this guy makes it out. This gal makes it out. 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 All of these make it out. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. All of these make it out. Because of Crow's directions, yeah, actually a good number of people make it out entirely. Oops.
And they take the fire with them.
They take the fire with them. While others just make their way. 2, 3, 6. Okay. They basically that. So this is all like a simplified movement because it would just take way too long.
The screams in the background are very, very appropriate.
I thought it was the baby. Not really.
Okay, so yeah, but still, a lot of people are still at risk. The fire is spreading, and each in an adjacent square. And this is actually spreading here. Oops. Okay, so the fire is spreading, catching a townsperson next to Geier, and lighting her up almost immediately, as if she was made of straw. And she goes down and is at risk of burning to death if not helped soon. Geier, but first of all, you have your still standing in the burning square. I'll need another reflex save.
Alright.
Alright, but once again, you managed to avoid catching on fire.
Alright, I put out the fire of the woman with my shovel. No, I'm kidding.
I shoveled dirt onto her.
I put it down with the shovel. No, Geier looks around, fumbles in his pockets, takes out his remaining bottle of holy water, and quickly pours it over the woman. Trying to go, can I throw the water in her and then try to stomp her out with the?
Well, I'm just saying that the holy water is a flat, and this is like a 5 by 5 foot section of the room that is basically ablaze.
No, just on the woman. Well, no, actually, no, you're right. Because I was holding the rug thing and trying to put the fire out, not very effectively. So I just turn and cover her in it.
Okay.
In the
Imagine
tapestry.
dumping a water bottle on someone who's entirely on fire.
Yeah. I mean, it sounded better in my head than then I spoke out loud and it was dumb.
All right.
But tapestry works. Might work.
So she, all right. Give me another combat maneuver check.
It should be 4 instead of 3. So add 1 to.
Nice.
Thanks.
Okay. So you put out the fire, you wrap her in the tapestry, and you ignoring the flames that actually lick your legs and arms as you do so, that are in your own square. But with no regard for your own safety, you put out the poor woman, and she is severely burned, but she'll probably live. Crow?
Do I still have a move action, no?
Yeah, you still have a move action.
So I'll step away from the fire
All right.
slightly. Yeah.
Good. Crow.
Do I think that continuing to try to direct people will help at this point, or is it just the crowd is thin enough that everyone can kind of just make it?
Well, it's probably going to become a bottleneck at the doors, so they will, if they don't get directions, they might kind of block their paths.
Okay.
So it could help, yeah.
So Crow is going to continue to holler, "Everyone keep moving! Make sure you make room for the people behind you! Go!"
All right. Another diplomacy. Nice. Yeah, you make yourself heard, and people apparently listen. And it's a full round
And
action to
he's-
do that, so you would have a 5-foot step.
Oh, it's a full round?
Yeah,
okay,
but you have,
I'll
you have a
fi-
5 foot. Okay, Doctor.
Are there any tapestries that not ablaze near me? So
Yeah, there's one right next to you, basically.
so seeing how nobody is on fire, so I don't really have to throw my holy water at them. Arronax will try to cover the fire right in front of him with tapestry and stomp on it before while preparing to rush away.
I'm sorry, I did not catch that. What are you doing? You're taking a
Tapestry and throw it over fire right before him.
Oh, okay, then
trying-
combat maneuver.
Yeah, trying to
Combat maneuver check.
and stomp it out. Okay, I think I will. At this point, I will run away.
Yeah, you burn your feet a bit as the fire consumes a good chunk of the tapestry.
Do I have a move action?
No, that's a full. Well, you took it down and you threw.
Okay.
But you could take a 5 foot.
Well, there's no real space to go now, so I think he will have to stay here, like dancing the fire jigger.
Okay, and if it wasn't enough to deal with a burning building and a panicking crowd, a screech zips or splits the night, and then the windows shatter as two burning skulls smash their way through the glass between the bars into the room.
Ugh.
And look for victims immediately.
We just had enough of you, says Dr. Arronax, and tries to attract attention by yelling at the flaming skull next to him.
Mm-hmm. Let me just... Okay. This guy is going to attack that poor little girl over there, who takes a point of damage and goes down.
What? That's a weak little girl.
And the other one has 4 potential targets. Going top to bottom. That is that lady over here who gets attacked and who was already severely burned, so that 1 point of non-lethal damage knocks her out. The rest of the crowd, the woman next to the child starts screaming, and the people near the door start running towards it, making their way into safety. 3, 1, 2, 3. So all of these actually make their way out, definitely. Then we have this guy who can run straight out. So can Shonda, Murta. Fashion, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 barely makes it out. That lady makes it out. Yeah, those all make it out as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. Come on. Roll20 is being slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just barely can't make it out. And the elderly lady over screams at the skull and flails her arm and trying to get it, trying to shoo it away from the little girl, while the fire keeps on spreading. The fire down there has 1, 3, 4 squares to spread into. 2 would be the little girl, but it's lucky just right next to her that the floor starts to set on fire. Up here, part of the bench catches on fire. Then we have that square there. There's a 1, 2, 3. 1 would be the doctor, 2 would be Crow. So Crow, your bench that you're standing on, or standing between those benches, catches on fire. So I will need a reflex save from Crow. And you take 1d6 points of fire damage, so that's 5 points of fire damage. While you're in that square. And then we have 1 more down there. 1, 2, 3, 4 potential squares. Gaia, you are just drawing the fire over to you. It seems like the benches around you start to smolder and then catch fire. Gaia needs a reflex save too.
Yeah, Geier has been known to be flammable. All right.
All right, so you avoid the fire damage. And then it's your turn, Gaia. You hear Crow shout.
Grab the woman! Geier!
Dr. Arronax echoes this yell, and it's like, grab the woman now!
Geier looks from this woman to the other woman with the girl.
Not that one,
I've
this
got
one.
it.
Deliberates for a second and picks this one up. The one beside him up. Still wrapped, I suppose, in the tapestry. And shoulders her.
All bundled
Okay,
up.
give me a combat maneuver check.
Not very... It must be +1. Yeah, it's a 20.
Nice. So you pick her up and you take her, you can move her your speed.
Yeah, you forget. Geier has carried quite a lot of bodies in his time.
That's true, yeah.
So, foot.
Also explains why
Shoulders
you
the woman.
grabbed her by the feet, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not the most genteel way, but Geier just picks her up and very efficiently shoulders the woman. And
Takes her outside.
yeah,
All right, yeah. I think that's enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, basically you are in that square, and then you can drop
at the
her.
door, and I can.
Yeah, there are people at the door that can take her off your hands.
Yeah.
The people outside are starting to organize already as well. Crow.
Crow
I'll
runs.
take care of this one. You take the far one.
30. Yeah. He leaves. He hears Aronax and he runs over. As he's running, he says to the flailing woman, he says, "Take the girl and get out of here! Take her and go! I'll handle this." And as he's saying that, he levels his blunderbuss at the flaming skull. Always loaded, baby. Always loaded 24/7.
Nothing.
No safeties on this gun.
Yeah, nothing more safe than a loaded blunderbuss in a burning building.
Well, technically, if it's not cocked, it's not
Yeah.
gonna go off. But that's like the safety, right? So, he cocks back and he aims at the thing, and kaboom!
Kaboom.
I should say this is with focused aim.
Okay.
Does an 11 hit? On touch?
It does just barely not.
Oh,
Missed so many times on
So
touch
just-
AC. God!
Blast a hole.
don't think
into
you
the-
know how to use that thing.
a
I
couple
think that
of
gets
holes
its
into the
attention,
dome.
though, right?
It does get its attention for sure, Doctor.
So if I throw the flask like point blank, will it try to attack opportunity me?
Sure, it's a ranged attack.
Well then, if it is opportunity of attack opportunity anyway, so he will first maneuver himself in a more advantageous position. It's somewhere like here. Oh my god, there's a person under me.
Oh, whoops. She already disappeared.
And that, so he tries to leave the range of the skull.
Yeah, it has a size of tiny, so it can't attack of opportunity you.
Well, that's very convenient for me, and hopefully not good for him, because the next thing Dr. Arronax will throw the flask of holy water that he already used, that he
Alright,
pulled out already,
Throw.
right at his skull. So ranged attack. Well, it's
Right between the eye sockets,
yes.
and it smashes open. And how much damage?
Well, 2d4 plus my intelligence 4.
Ugh.
That,
No, that was a
no,
roll.
wait, it's sorry. There we go.
That's more like it. You, you hit it right between the eye socket. The vial or flask smashes open, douses the skull, and it just falls to the floor and rolls over the floorboards. The flames extinguished. Okay, the other skull, having been very much agitated by the blunderbuss's blast, comes flying towards Crow, and it has to fly into your square. If you have any way of melee attacking it, you would get an attack of opportunity.
I do not, but I am going to use.
Can you not hit it with the butt of the blunderbuss?
Not until 3rd level gunslinging, and even then, technically, no. Rules as written, it doesn't work. It's really stupid. But I do use dodging panache.
Okay, so it moves into your square, and it.
So
shrinks.
as it's trying to move in, I move out. So it still gets the attack, but. Oh,
Does it?
damn.
Because it has to be in the same square.
No, but the attack that triggers the dodging panache still
Oh, I see.
lands.
Okay,
Even if moving out of reach would cause it not to.
okay.
However,
and
20. Let me double check that. That's bad. I don't think I can. Ooh, that just hits.
What is it? Nat 20, and it is
Okay.
1 point of non-lethal damage and 4 points of fire damage.
Ow! 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 Ow!
Okay, the crowd. The lady by the door next to Geier runs outside, and the lady next to the little kid drops prone, trying to get some cover from the skull. I mean, she doesn't know that it doesn't have stuff. But
Damn it, I told her to grab the
terrified
girl.
of it.
I told her to grab the
And-
girl. She's not listening.
And she does grab the girl, but she like very slowly crawls while still taking cover behind the bench.
She needs
that's
a little help.
and that's all she can do for now. Okay, the
I need
fire
help, too.
spreads. Fire spreads here and here and here. Benches catch on fire. This starts to burn, and more of the stage. So yeah, by this point the town hall is pretty much ablaze. And it's Gaia's turn. The building is burning.
Geier will move here. Wait, no, just take a 5 foot and grab this bench here and kind of like throw it to the side, kind of like try and clear the area.
Strength check.
Strength check.
Nice. So you run back into the burning building, and we'll see you lift up one of those benches and just hurl it to the side. Crow.
Well, my options are to spend a round reloading.
So retreat, I'll take care of it.
Yeah, I think Arronax is probably more efficient at this than me. So I'm gonna see if I can, I don't know, either I want to try to help, either like grab the child from the woman and run, or like help the woman get up and run.
Mm-hmm.
Like if she's resisting me grabbing the child from her, then I just want to like usher her to her feet and like run her out the door with me.
Okay, so she just seems to be shocked, and she seems only to be acting on instinct right now. So when you go for the child, she would probably let you pick it up.
Okay. I'll grab the child.
Okay, CMB.
I got to roll for that.
Yeah, it's fairly easy. It's just if you roll ridiculously low, then we'll have some trouble.
No, you've jinxed it.
That's fine. So you reach over the bench and kind of have to lean all the way over and then grab the child, and with great exertion you lift her up and pull her over the bench, and yeah, you hold her pretty much now.
Okay, and I'm gonna move. Assume. Oh, that won't provoke because it's not in my square.
Correct.
Haha, bye. I get her out the door. Like
Alright.
that, I guess.
Okay. And again, someone on the outside is waiting, or is ready to take her from you. Doctor.
Doctor will spend his move action to pull out his second to last flask of holy water.
Mm-hmm.
Then he will 5-foot step a little bit closer to the skull, yelling at the moment like, "Run, run!" So it will be safe now, and he will fling the flask now with his last strength, while standing alone in the center of a burning building, basically, as it should be. Fuck.
And you miss.
Well, thankfully it is a splash weapon, so it will take minimum damage of 6.
Reflex saves, alright?
I suppose so. But reflex saves, it's Well, I need to check, I suppose.
15.
Deck. Pum pum pum. Ugh, I'm sorry. I completely forgot my DC for my bombs.
It's not a bomb.
Well, yeah.
No, it's not a bomb unless you have some ability that says thrown weapon you use is
But one moment, it will. Now even wiki is getting slow.
Yeah, I guess Sunday is a game day.
Okay, Google, Pathfinder Holy Water. To the 10. Each. Well, Holy Water doesn't actually list any.
Yeah, holy water only says 1 point of splash damage. I was assuming that you have some ability that says you can add your intelligence modifier.
I can add my intelligence modifier because I'm an alchemist. It is from the throw anything feat. I get to throw anything as a bonus feat as first level. The alchemist adds his intelligence bonus to damage done with splash weapons.
Okay.
So yeah.
And
So it's not 6, it's 5 then.
okay. That is still going to be enough. Just checking the throw anything feat real quick.
It is mostly said in the
Yeah,
alchemist.
never mind. So 5 points is enough, even though the bomb goes wide, it bursts, the holy water goes wide, bursts open on one of those benches, and the splash is enough to hit the skull and thus destroy whatever foul force was animating it. And that was the doctor's turn. The woman, however, is completely breaking down at this point. She just sits there curled up, hugging her legs, and starts to rock back and forth. The fire is right next to her.
Take her
She's
away. Take her away
she's
now.
about to get consumed by it. She's coughing, and clearly in shock and at risk. Geier.
Geier takes a 5-foot step, and tosses this bench this time. Wait,
Okay.
no, sorry. Just makes a regular move and tosses this bench, like the one she's heading over, and yeah.
Okay. Another strength check. And again, you lift up the bench and you just throw it at the wall, and you stand there towering over her with your green skin backlit by the entire building fire.
Can I intimidate and tell her, run?
Yeah, go ahead. Do it, intimidate.
Nice.
Point towards the door, and I scream, run out!
Alright, that's of course a hefty circumstantial bonus on that. Crow.
Fire and throwing the bench and green skin.
Yeah, Crow's gonna move up. Oh god, he can do that. He's gonna use the space that Geier's cleared to move up. Get in right here. And then, does she look like that Geier shouting at her has kind of snapped her back into it? Snapped her out of it?
hard to tell, but she's definitely. Well, give me a sense.
Sense motive. You clipped out for a moment.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it looks like Geier shook something loose by yelling at her like that.
Okay, I'm gonna try to like use my action to. I don't know if it's a combat maneuver or not. I just want to like grab her by the shoulders and run her out with me.
All right, that will be a combat context, yeah.
Okay, then. Honestly, I don't know how great I'm gonna do with carrying a full-grown woman around. So, I'm gonna yell for Aronax to help me. Aronax, come help me with this one. And I'll ready an action so that when Aronax is there, we can like get her out together.
Well,
All right.
Arronax, well, coughing from the flames and smoke, he will just nod and with a swift motion he will try to pick her up.
Okay. So Crow does the main, Doctor does the combat maneuver.
I suppose Crow should have better combat maneuver bonus.
I'm not sure I don't know which one of us is better at that, but yeah, I might be better. I'm not sure.
Well, I only have
a +1.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just okay.
Okay.
I mean, Crow literally said, "Help me," so I think Crow should do the main.
Ugh. This is why I need help.
Hard.
Nice.
All right. Yeah, you do help, and since she's not totally limp or anything, she does cooperate now that Geier has, snapped her out of it a little bit, and you manage to get her out of the building just in time, of course, for a large crossbeam to come crashing down, smoldering and burning, and bringing down a good chunk of the upper floor with it. And, yeah. Let me clean up the initiative order real quick. And then we'll move to the aftermath. Yeah, so the building is pretty much ablaze. But you saved every single person through directing them and through actively getting them out of there. And now that everyone is out, everybody has already started to put the fire out to try and help. Every hand is on deck to get a bucket, get some water from the river, and help put the town hall out as quickly as possible. But it takes, I would assume that you probably help as well.
Well, Arronax will try to treat the wounds of the burned people.
Right.
Since
Crow will help
yeah,
for sure with the fire.
Since we looted all the stuff from the apothecary, so it might as well put that to use.
Mm-hmm.
Geier, well, manual labor is where he shines, so shoveling dirt, putting out fires, bread and butter.
And so, you help out with the fighting the fire and helping the wounded, and it still takes the better part of the night for the concerted efforts to finally put an end to the inferno. And as the most of the townspeople and you look at the smoldering ruins of the town hall, what's her? Sorry. Shonda once again raises her voice, the councilwoman, and she says, "See, did you see that? That was not just a coincidence. That was
That was
Harrowstone trying to cut off Grimborough to tell us more. And she climbs that little stage on the town square to address the crowd better. And she says, I'm telling you, it is Harrowstone that's corrupting the town. We need to do something about it, and we need to do it now. And she gets a lot of support from the crowd for this.
As she's saying this, and the crowd, speaking of, Crow is making his way forward to the little raised stage.
And just as he gets to the stage, someone from the crowd, oh, really, Shonda? And what are you going to do about it, huh?
Well, we've been doing things since yesterday, but Geier mumbles like.
Do Geier and Aronax join him on the stage, or they still doing other
Geier follows Crow.
Well, okay, I suppose at this point, Arronax bandaged enough people. Well, there are only two, so he will join as well.
Also, I think at this point, Geier is quite the sight. Like green skin, just covered in suit, clothes singed. He's looking his Sunday best.
My hat is lightly smoldering. Like everything, we're in rough shape.
Yeah. And Arronax was not burned at all by being in the center of the burning building.
I'm actually pretty badly burned. But Geier, no, sorry, God. Crow will step up onto the stage, and he kind of steps up beside Shonda, and he says, "Your councilwoman is indeed correct. This horror does come from Harrowstone, and myself, my associates, and two others who are not with us this evening. We know this because we have seen it ourselves."
A gasp goes through the crowd, and some laughter too, and someone else, "Oh yeah, really? Of course. Listen, we're thankful
Come
for
up here!
your
I know
help."
who that is, Gibbs. Get up here now! Stand up here with your accusations.
And
Come away from your crowd. Come stand up here by yourself.
and a lot of cheer from the crowd meets that challenge, and Gibbs sort of sheepishly makes his way up the stairs to the stage and
Now.
stands there twisting his hat in his hands. He says, "Well, all I'm saying is that you've only been here in this town for what, a little over a week now, and now you say that you've been to Harrowstone and you've seen things, and it's all just saying it's all really convenient, you know."
Well, it's
Well, why don't you just take a trip to Harrowstone with us and reassure the rest of the people that it's perfectly fine?
Yeah, if you have anyone else willing to go to Harrowstone, you can be our guest.
Oh, I could go for a stroll right now. It's lovely this time of the evening.
Crow turns his attention back to the crowd, and he says, he puts an arm on Gibbs' shoulder, and he says, "This man is correct. We are strangers to this place. We are guests. We are visitors. We are not from among your number. We do not come with all of the same predispositions and traditions that you have here. You all stay away from Harrowstone. We have not. We came here on the request of our deceased friend, the professor, whom you all know, though I know not all of you loved. However, we loved him. We came to help bury him. We stayed because he requested that we protect his daughter in his will. We have stayed to protect. And in doing so, we have uncovered and battled great evils in this town. I think that all of you can attest to that tonight and on other nights and days too.
There's some mostly like confirming grumble from the crowd. And
What
then
has become? Go ahead.
and then the council women, both Murta and Shanda, speak up as well, and they say, yes, listen to this man. He's right. You know that this group has done more for our town in just a few days than many of us have ever done for our community ever. Kind of back you up like that.
Okay, cool. So yeah, Crow, God, I completely lost my train of thought. Okay. So Crow looks out over the crowd and he says, our job of protecting the daughter of Lorimor, and indeed this entire village, cannot be complete until we have dealt with what lies in Harrowstone. This is not the last time that such horrors will be visited upon you. Do you want your entire village to go up in flames, or to be overcome by the rise of deceased loved ones come back to strangle you in your beds?
There's an evil that has risen from the grave. We must put it back down in its place.
And
My
crowd
friend
of-
speaks true. We are the ones who are willing to do this. Us, outsiders. Perhaps we are not trusted by all of you, but that will not stop us from doing what is right. You can call us names behind our backs, and he turns to Gibbs. You can insult us to our faces as we save your women and children. But we will do the right thing. We would only prefer to do the right thing with your permission, of course. But even if we do not have it, we will still do what we must.
All right. Vashian cuts you off somewhat and says, we shall do this in an orderly fashion. Everybody who is in favor of charging this lot to investigate the ruins of Harrowstone and see if there is any connection in the recent troubles and the ruins, say aye. And the crowd pretty unanimously yells aye. And then, even though it's completely unnecessary, Vashian says, everybody who is not in favor of this crowd investigating on behalf of the town, say nay. A couple of nays from the crowd, but nothing too serious. And Gibbs kind of grumbles nay on the stage, but almost inaudibly. All right, then, I believe it is decided. These gentlemen will go and explore the ruins and as officially charged investigators of the town. Of course, we will. They will be rewarded should they successfully resolve this matter, and they shall have all the support from this town and its inhabitants until their job is completed. And then he ends the session. And with that, we'll end our session as well.
Oh.
Dun dun dun.
But hey, we're not being driven out with, pitchforks and torches, so...
Well, I mean, there was enough torches here already, so that's what was filled.
Yeah, but it could have gone way worse. They could have accused us, or like, oh, they're the ones who brought this evil here, etc.
Well, they
as
did.
Crow's
kind of.
as Crow's getting down off the stage, he just keeps thinking to himself, like, what have I gotten myself into?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
He is taking on a very leading role. I didn't think he would grow into that.
well, I mean, he got us into support of the town and the financial providence, or something like that.
At least we're gonna get paid now.
Yeah. Although I have to backpedal a little bit on the deal that Joffre offered. I'm gonna have to turn it into you can get each character. Well, I think what I said was each character can have a pick of these items, and I think I'm gonna have to turn it into you can have a pick of each kind of item. So one shield, one weapon, one armor.
Oh, that's what I thought you said.
Okay, good,
Yeah, it's okay.
good.
Oh great! The one class that can't use any of that stuff.
Well, well, I mean, maybe she has an enchanted shovel. I mean, who knows?
There's like no monk weapons there.
Hey, I got my shovel.
Isn't it like a sickle still a monk weapon or something? I'm sure there's some sort of simple.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just
simple
being.
weapon.
Okay.
That'll work for Crow.